Welcome to Lunch with the Lord. I'm Pastor Mark. We are in 1 Timothy chapter 6. We'll be finishing verse 16, and more than likely we'll be starting verse 17 this lesson. But before we begin, Jeremiah 15:16. Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and the rejoicing of my heart. Now, as we saw in the first part of verse 16, he says here, who only has immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto. Okay? So we saw that last lesson that God dwells in a light and no man can approach unto it. No human being can go there, not in their physical body. We can go there in our soul. Our soul, when we die, we go into the presence of God because we're saved and we can have access to God's throne. But today, here on earth, we can have access to God's throne, but it's only through prayer. Hebrews 4:16, we have access to God's throne through prayer. But we ourselves cannot go there because we would be, and nothing from this world system can go into the presence of God because it would consume us. It would consume it. It would just melt it away or whatever. But it cannot handle the light that God lives in. The dimension that God lives in is far beyond, and God's dimension cannot come to this dimension because out of love and out of grace for us, because it would consume this world. Our dimension came from that dimension, right? This existence came from God's existence, but God designed this existence this way. And our flesh, before sin entered into the world, I believe that Adam and Eve, before sin entered, they could have access to God's throne. They could go there. But once sin entered into our human body, we could not go there. We could not have access there because it would consume us. So he says, whom no man hath, dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto. And then it says, whom no man hath seen, nor can see. No man hath seen, nor can see. And it means that while we are in our human body, we cannot see God. We cannot see God's shape or anything of God. In John chapter 1, in verse 18, it says here, no man, Jesus said, no man hath seen God at any time. And that's true. It's not possible for a human being to see God because we can't go into God's dimension. We can't enter into that unapproachable light. It says, the only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. He has what? Declared him. And this is an interesting Greek word, declared. It's exegeomai. And it's where we get our English word exegesis. And exegesis means to lead out or to make something known or to declare something. Okay? So it's like I have something behind a door and I'm leading it out from behind the door so that you can see what it is. All right? It's like or something behind a curtain. You have something, it's like you have something hidden, and then you take it out and you lead it out from behind this curtain or this door, and you show it to the world. And that's what exogeomai means. It means to declare something, to make something known. And in Jesus's incarnation, when Jesus left heaven and came to earth, in his incarnation, he led out the Father from behind the curtain of his invisibility and put God in full view. That's what the incarnation is. That's what Jesus Christ, that's who Christ is. Jesus Christ is God in the flesh. God come into the flesh. God being clothed with a human body. And Jesus Christ declared the Father to us. So have we seen God? The actual existence of God? No. But have we seen God in a sense? Yes, I've seen God because I see Jesus. Jesus Christ brought the Father, in a sense, brought the Father down from heaven, and he came in a body and he revealed God to us. He put God in full view of mankind. Jesus came into our dimension to show us the Father, because it's not possible for us to go to his dimension and to see him. So because we have no access to God and we can't go there, God himself came and was born in a human body and revealed himself to us. This is who I am. But you can't come to me. Jesus said, where I'm going, you can't come. And that's true. They couldn't come in their flesh. But they could come once they die, they could go there. Yes. But people on earth had no way of seeing God, knowing he's there. So God came to us in the form of Jesus Christ, and he revealed himself to us. Again, in Revelation chapter 4, verses 2 and 3, John the apostle, he did see God sitting on the throne. But John at that time was what? In the Spirit. John said, I was in the Spirit. And that's how he was able to see those things. But he wasn't there in his flesh. In Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. Remember Isaiah said, I saw the Lord high and lifted up, and his throne filled the temple. You may say, how did he see that? Well, the Bible says that it's believed that it was a vision, that Isaiah saw a vision from God. It was like a dream, but more than a dream. But Isaiah didn't actually go there, but it was a vision from God that he saw that. And then in 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 9, Micaiah also saw a vision. He saw what he saw when he said, I saw God on his throne and Satan, and he saw, and God wanted somebody to deceive the king, right? Micaiah is saying, I saw all these things, what was going on in heaven, how God was planning this whole thing out. It was a vision. Micaiah wasn't really there, but it was a vision from God that he gave to Micaiah. What happened? All right, so Jesus Christ declared the Father. He says here, who only has immortality. God dwells in the light, which no man can approach unto. So because no man could approach unto it, God came to us and revealed himself to us. No man can approach unto whom no man has seen, nor can see. Have we ever seen Jesus? Have we ever seen God? In one sense, no. But in another sense, yes, we have seen God because I've seen Jesus. Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, right? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Yeah, but where is he? He said he's a spirit. I want to see the actual form of God. Right? Well, I'm sure Jesus kind of laughed, and he probably, in his heart, he probably laughed and said, yeah, you don't want to see him. You can't take it. You're just going to be gone. No, that's not going to be possible. But Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. I and the Father are one. And so, yes, we have seen God, but it's through Christ. It's when God came to us in a human body. And then eventually we'll die. As he died and and went into heaven, so also we die. We leave this body behind and we go into heaven. And we receive our glorified body. Now, verse 17 here, from verses 17 to verse 19, Paul gives advice to the rich. All right, verses 17, 18, and 19, Paul now, as he's getting ready to close out this letter, he's giving advice to Timothy concerning rich people. Now, he says here in verse 17, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God who gives us richly all things to enjoy. Now, he says here, charge them. Now, this is the sixth and the final time that Paul uses the word charge. The Greek word is parangelo, and it means to hand over an announcement. So parangelo, Paul here tells Timothy, parangelo them that are rich. It means to hand an announcement over. Give them an announcement, these rich people. But the announcement here that is given is seen more as a commandment rather than a charge, rather than an announcement. It's more as a commandment and a charge than it is an announcement. So there's more emphasis to this here. Remember, ultimately, it is God who is commanding these rich people to be careful. Even the rich and the wealthy are not above God's warnings. Riches and wealth can give a person a proud heart and can encourage them to be beyond reproach, even by God. There's many rich people in the world. Their riches are causing them to be arrogant and proud, even towards God. I don't listen to him. What's he got to say? Even if he does exist, what do I care what he says, right? Their riches causes them to be arrogant and proud towards God, and they won't want to listen to God. We also see that in the churches of Ephesus, that there were some that had riches. The churches of Ephesus, remember, we said that the churches around Ephesus were these home Bible studies. So the churches were a mixture of poor and wealthy. And the wealthy were not to look down upon the poor. Paul guides the rich what they should do with their wealth. So Paul is encouraging these rich people, and it's very possible that in a church that you would have a rich person and also his slave in the church, in the church service at the same time. The rich person would come to the church, and his one or two of his slaves would come there also, and be a part of the church. So that causes some problems there, unless you're humble before God. But he says, charge them that are rich in this world, rich in this world. And this phrase refers to being rich in all that this world has to offer. Money, power, knowledge. You can be rich in knowledge. You can be rich in power. Paul is actually referring to people who have riches and wealth. When he says rich in this world, he is talking about people who do have riches, lots of money or possessions. But you also can be rich in knowledge and rich in power. But we can apply it also to being rich in the things of this world. Rich in music or rich in whatever. But is Paul talking about wealthy people? Yes, he is. But there's more to riches than just money and wealth. But Paul is specifically centering in on those who have means, those who have money and riches and jewels and things, okay? And Paul here is going to encourage them what they should do with their wealth. All right? Until then, walk with the Lord. I know he walks with you.